A significant shift in the North American balance of power is currently unfolding in Ottawa as the Canadian federal government nears a decisive parliamentary majority. In a series of events described by political analysts as unprecedented in the modern era, 5 members of parliament have defected from their respective parties to join the Liberal government under Mark Carney. This movement has placed the Carney administration within a single seat of a full majority, with 3 critical by-elections remaining on the horizon. The core of this political realignment centers on the departure of 4 Conservative MPs from the caucus of opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. These defections are notable not only for their volume but for their timing, occurring within the first year of a sitting government, a period typically characterized by opposition strength rather than internal collapse. The departures span a vast geographical range, including representatives from Nunavut, Atlantic Canada, Alberta, and 2 from Ontario, indicating that the shift is a national phenomenon rather than a regional protest. Among the most significant defections is that of Marilyn Gladu, a chemical engineer and veteran legislator previously regarded as one of the most right-wing members of the Conservative caucus. Her decision to cross the floor has reportedly caused profound alarm within Conservative headquarters, signaling a structural break in party unity. As the Liberal Party prepares for its national convention in Montreal, the government has successfully utilized these floor crossings to project a narrative of consolidation and stability, effectively stripping the opposition of its primary political leverage during a period of heightened international economic pressure. The floor crossings of these 5 members of parliament follow a series of private negotiations that sources within the Prime Minister's office confirm had been ongoing for weeks. The strategic timing of the announcements, coinciding with the Liberal National Convention in Montreal, has been interpreted as a calculated demonstration of administrative strength. Internal reports from Ottawa indicate that the move by Marilyn Gladu was particularly damaging to the Conservative leadership, as she represents a high-profile ideological anchor within the party's right wing. Her public departure was reportedly met with silence at Conservative headquarters, as strategists realized the structural integrity of the caucus had been compromised. In a public statement, Gladu cited the need for serious leadership to navigate the economic instability triggered by recent American trade policies. This sentiment is echoed by the other defectors, Chris D'Entremont from Nova Scotia, Michael Marr from Ontario, and Matt Genereux from Alberta, who have shifted the parliamentary balance of power significantly. Following the Monday by-elections, the Liberal Party has secured 174 of 343 seats, surpassing the 172 required for a majority. This development allows the government to command House committees and accelerate its legislative agenda without the need for opposition support. +3. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has denounced the movement, characterizing the defections as backroom deals that betray the voters' mandate. Despite Poilievre's insistence on his 87% leadership support from party members, the Conservative vote share dropped by double digits in all 3 recent by-election ridings. Currently, the Whisper network in Ottawa suggests that additional Conservative MPs are in discussions with the government, driven by a growing perception of a leadership crisis within the official opposition. The mechanical impact of these defections has created a feedback loop, where the risk of remaining in a diminishing caucus is increasingly weighed against the stability offered by the governing party. The consequences of this parliamentary realignment extend beyond the halls of the House of Commons, impacting Canada's strategic standing in the international arena. A consolidated majority under Mark Carney fundamentally alters the dynamics of Canada's most critical economic relationship, as the federal government prepares to navigate intensifying trade pressure from Washington. Analysts note that a majority mandate provides the stability required for long-term negotiations, removing the vulnerability inherent in a minority government that could fall on a confidence vote. This shift is particularly relevant given the recent tariff threats and economic rhetoric emanating from the United States administration under Donald Trump. The perception of Canadian sovereignty and economic independence has become a central concern for voters, with internal polling suggesting that the aggressive, anti-establishment posture previously favored by the Conservative leadership has lost traction in suburban ridings. On the domestic front, the economic implications of this political stability are significant. Canada and the United States conduct over $2 trillion in annual trade, and the current administration is now positioned to negotiate a stabilized trade framework with a full mandate. Such a framework is essential for mitigating the costs of tariff uncertainty, which have begun to impact cost structures in the manufacturing, agricultural, and energy sectors. By addressing these pressures at a federal level, the government aims to prevent these costs from trickling down to consumers in the form of higher prices for energy, food, and construction materials. Furthermore, foreign institutional investors and multinational corporations are monitoring the situation closely, as political continuity is a primary factor in capital allocation decisions for large-scale infrastructure and energy projects. The long-term outlook for the Canadian political landscape suggests the emergence of a de facto cross-partisan coalition of pragmatists and technocrats. This shift away from traditional left-right binaries indicates a profound change in the Canadian establishment's approach to governance during periods of global instability. For the Conservative Party, the current trajectory points toward a potential leadership review and a period of existential crisis, with rebuilding efforts estimated to take several years. As the government moves to leverage its new majority, the focus remains on the upcoming by-elections and the subsequent legislative sessions that will define the country's economic and diplomatic path for the next decade. Subscribe for continued coverage as these developments unfold, and provide your perspective on these scenarios in the comments below.